What's up, y'all? Today we are talking about how being an authentic Christian brings people to Christ. All right? Yes, that's right. We talking about being authentic, an authentic Christian. But first, I want to talk about this little hair situation I got going on because I know y'all probably like, didn't this boy just have his hair cut? What? He grew it back out again? Look, y'all, man, I be getting lazy. So when my hair is low, and I actually cut my own hair, but when my hair is low and it's growing back, I just don't feel like going to the barber, or I don't feel like cutting it myself, and I just be letting it grow. So it kind of like grows out by accident. All right, so I know y'all probably looking at these videos like, what's going on with this guy? But anyway, that's what I be doing, all right? So don't judge me, y'all. I just be letting it grow. So it's growing. I'm gonna probably cut it back soon. All right, but let's get to it. All right, so how being an authentic Christian brings people to Christ. And I know some people are like, what do you mean authentic Christian, Rudy? I know how some people are. What do you mean authentic, Rudy? What I mean is, for one, to be an authentic Christian, you have to be authentic. You cannot be fake, right? And what I mean by fake is, I mean, like, you know how some people try to be a way, right? Like, you want to be totally different. And I know some of y'all might think, well, ain't that what you're supposed to do when you become a Christian? Yeah, when it comes to your character, when it comes to your spirit, you're supposed to change internally, right? Internally, characteristically, and spiritually, right? And emotionally, and mentally. Yeah, physically, you got your own choice. But when it comes to being authentic, some people don't know how to do that, right? So I want people to understand that when you're a Christian, though, and just in general, people relate to us being authentic, y'all. Like, you gotta be real. And I mean real. You don't see Jesus coming over acting like the religious leaders, right? Just look at that story. Jesus came, but then you got these religious leaders who represent God, right? You got the religious leaders, you got the Pharisees, you got the Sadducees, you got all of these people who supposedly represent God, all the Jews that represent God, but they was being a way, right? They was fronting. As you see, there's a whole scripture, I think in Matthew, where Jesus called them hypocrites because they're supposed to represent God, but they would not be doing the very thing that they were supposed to do. So they was basically faking. They was acting like they was a certain way, but they were not representing it correctly. They were not being authentic. Like, if I say that, oh, I'm godly, or oh, I walk with God, and I'm over here telling people about not having sex, but then I'm over here having sex, or I'm over here looking at people a certain way because they're doing the thing that I keep saying that we shouldn't do, or pointing to God about it, but I'm over here doing the same thing. That's fake, y'all. That's not how you get someone. Or just imagine a salesman, right? You go and try to buy a car, and the salesman comes over and he tried to get you to buy the car just for his benefit. You get what I'm saying? It's not authentic, right? He could care less about you. It's more about him. And that's what happens when we are not authentic. And this is seen in so many stories, y'all, right? You can look at David. Look at King David, y'all. When David was about to go fight Goliath, you see how King Saul gave David his armor. But if you look at the story, right before he gave him his armor, King David was talking about how God led him to slay bears and lions and everything, right? But now he's in front of King Saul about to fight Goliath, and now he's putting on his armor. But he didn't need that type of armor when he was slaying the bears and the lions. But now he's trying on this armor, something that he's not used to, something that he never used when God led him to slay those things, right? Or to triumph over those things, right? So God called David from where he was as a shepherd boy, and God was helping him during that time. But now when he's in front of this person, he's trying on something different. He's changing in front of this situation. David said, no, I'm not used to this. Remember, he tried to walk around and see, and he was like, I can't do this, because it's not who he is. It wasn't who he was. It wasn't how he used to be at the moment. So at that moment, he used what God gave him. He went to battle the same way that he did before. That's how he was able to triumph over the enemy. You understand? So that's the same thing with us as Christians, y'all. If we go up to people and we over here act in a way and be in a way, and we wasn't never that way, people can see if it's fake or it's not, right? And I say this because it's a lot of us, and I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. That's one thing about this channel. I'm gonna let y'all know, I'm gonna keep it real, no matter how anyone feel. A lot of us, man, we be out here faking. We be out here faking, y'all. That's a fact. I'm gonna just keep it real. A lot of us not, but I'm gonna speak on a lot of us faking, because it's just like everything else and anything else, right? Like people in corporate and businesses and all of that, trying to get to the top, and you know, all of that. Everybody trying to present themselves as something else so that the world can see them away or whatever it is. But the same thing happens in the kingdom, y'all, with Christians. A lot of us ain't away, but then we come over here and we try to be away, or we present ourselves in a way that we not really that way, right? And then people see that, and we think that's supposed to pull them in. Do y'all think that I make these videos being fake? Look at how I talk. I'm a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Look at the slang that I speak. I've been speaking like this since I was a kid. And you know what's crazy? I even tried to change myself. But when I tried to change myself, it was like so hard. Like I could not, for some reason, it's like I couldn't change. Now, obviously I've changed, but when it comes to certain things, it's just like, it's hard for me to do it because it's not a part of me. Like it's just, this is just how I am, right? And I've learned to always be myself, but with God. And I know some people watching this might be like, Rudy, what are you talking about, man? You're supposed to change. I'm not going to be who I used to be. It's not about being how you used to be. You see the difference? You say who you used to be. I say how you used to be. So yeah, I don't come over here and I start treating people wrong and saying God's name, but I'm over here treating people wrong and acting evil and all of that. Or I'm over here trying to have sex like I used to be over there, but then I'm fronting, because that's still fronting too. You get what I'm saying? But over here, y'all, we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to be real, right? When you look at the Jews and the Gentiles, God told the Jews to stay circumcised. I think, who was it? Peter was looking at the Gentiles in a certain way, and the other people from Jerusalem was looking at the Gentiles in a certain way because they was uncircumcised. God told the Gentiles to stay uncircumcised. So what does that represent? He's telling them, I called y'all from here. This is where y'all were at. The Jews grew up this way. They're circumcised. They're cleansed in this way. And they grew up this way. I cultivated them this way. I called you from where you were. You did not grow up like them. You were not born like them. You did not live like them. So I don't need you to be like them, because just imagine someone who's a Gentile being circumcised when he was never circumcised. Remember, they were circumcised as kids. They're not circumcised. So they grew up this way. They didn't. But if you did that, then you would look like them, but you are not like them. Yes, y'all are one, but I need you over here to speak to certain people. I need y'all to lead certain people, to bless certain people because of where you are from. Like I pulled you out of that, so possibly you can pull others out of that, because people will be able to relate to them a little bit more. And then you got others over here who will be able to relate to them more because of where they came from. And I think some of us, we come to the kingdom, right, and want to be Christians, and then we look at other people and we're like, oh, I want to be like that. Oh, I want to be like them. Why can't I do that? And then you start speaking like them and acting like them. You should be like Jesus, but be how God created you. Like I try to emphasize this a lot to a lot of people. Like, you were born where you were born on purpose. You had the family that you had on purpose. Everything that happened to your life, even though you may not like it all, God allowed it on purpose, and then he saved you from that. You think God just wants you to erase your life? You think God will pull you from somewhere and then not want to use you in that same place? But what if you changed that? You removed all of that and then you changed it, and then you try to speak to those people. They're going to look at you like you crazy. They're going to look at you and not respect you and not even want to listen to you at all. But when they know that you came from there, when they know that you grew up like them, when they know that your father wasn't in your life like them, when they know that you was out there selling drugs, when they know that you was having sex like they were, when they know you was out here partying and acting wild and you probably did some bad things like them, when they know that your parents probably did certain things with you and you have this same type of trauma. I know some of y'all might think that's trauma bonding. This ain't no psychology class. This is a godly class. And I do psychology. But this is the truth. It is the whole truth, the God-given truth. Like God wants to use what you went through to bless people. This is why God blesses us with a testimony. This is why people pull and relate to people who seem more like them. Oh, you didn't have your dad in your life? I'ma listen. Oh, your mother treated you like this? I'ma listen. Oh, this happened with you? I'm going to listen. This is why I tell people, you try talking to a boy off the street, a boy on the street, and you ain't never been in the street, how you gonna understand him? How is he gonna listen to you? And we know men, it's harder for men to listen and follow something. So with men, you earn respect. We listen to what we feel respect from. So you're automatically possibly going to catch that boy if you can relate to his life in some type of way. If he can see himself, because it's a little kid at that. So if he can see himself just a little bit inside of you, his eyes are going to be open in some type of way, even little girls. You get what I'm saying? So God uses our testimony. He uses our life. That's what the testimony is for. So God don't just want us to come over here just acting a way and being a way in front. And if you was never like that, then why you acting like that? Yes, be godly, but you don't have to be exactly how these people were because they're this way, because they grew up this way. Traditionally, they act a way because of how they grew up. You didn't grow up that way, so why you gonna come over here acting like that? That's like me being born and living my life in New York and then going to California when I'm about 30, 40 years old and trying to be like them. That don't make no sense whatsoever. They not going to respect me at all because it just seemed like I'm not real and I want to just fit in just because. And then if I go back to the place that I was and they found out that I'm over here trying to act like these people, but they know you've been here all your life. Why are you trying to be like them? But if you come back over there and let's just say you used to be mean and evil, but you come back to them and now you're kind and you're giving, they're going to see something changed in you, but they still relate to you. So now you can trigger something in them that'll be pulled. This is how God does with us. This is exactly what Jesus did, y'all. Like our authenticity, being real, is what pulls people to us, right? Y'all don't see me being fake in no type of way. I ain't about to be fake at all. Some people may not even listen to me because I speak a way or I act a way or I talk a way or I dress a way or whatever it is. I don't care. And I don't think God cares. I really don't care because I'm going to be me. And I want to tell y'all about this too. For one, this is what I did on my life, and I think God blessed me for it. They tell us that we got to switch up in all of this in our life. Y'all know where I came from, man? How I got in college. There's no way possible I got in college without God. I got in college and I was still being the same way. But then God started to change me even in college and after college. Now, how I start to get in IT, if y'all knew my mind, before I graduated, I'm just thinking like, who gonna hire me? How I'm gonna get in corporate? I got tattoos on me. Look at how I talk. Look at how I grew up. I don't even know how to change. I can't code switch. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not about to code switch for nobody. Like, I'm not about to front out here for nobody. God blessed me to be how I am all of my life. So I know He's gonna do the same thing, right? The only thing that changed is that I'm probably more kind, more loving, more understanding. All of that. How did I wind up being in corporate? And I'm myself. Literally still in corporate, and I was myself, y'all. Not one day did I switch. Even, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I did used to think like, dang, they starting to see the real me. Like what they looking at me funny, right? But at the same time, I was still me. At the same time, I was at the interview still me. And guess what? They loved that I was me. And guess what? The Christians now, even the Christians now, I think people listen sometimes because I'm being so real and they could tell I care about this. I'm not over here trying to be Christian just so I can present myself in some way. I will tell you all the bad things I did, even if you judged me. I'm okay with being prejudged, just like Jesus. And that's the same thing I want to say. I keep getting off the topic with this one, but Jesus came from Nazareth, y'all. He from the hood, y'all. Look at when he came, how the priest and the religious law leaders and the Pharisees were to him, y'all. Like they treated him away because it was like, oh, he is not trained in the scriptures because he was not like them. He didn't dress like them. They thought the king, or they thought the Messiah was going to come as a king on chariots and horses and stallion horses and everything, right? Like a king, they thought he was going to come like that, but Jesus came on a donkey. Jesus came looking low of the low, looking poor. They judged this man. And did Jesus change? Did Jesus change himself to look like them? He did not. He allowed them to judge him because that's what he thought. But guess who he was able to touch? Those that related to how he was, right? Because they was on their high horses. Jesus wasn't on a horse at all. He was on a donkey. So they could not see it because he's not like us. But Jesus didn't try to even be like them. And I think Jesus was trying to teach us that when we come, to not try to fit in with the world, right? To not try to be like this, because when we do that, that reveals our hearts. And people can see this inside of us, right? I can see if you fake. I can see if you're trying to be something just so that you can be a part of something. I can see that you don't really care. But think about it. Your authenticity can be seen when you don't care about being judged. People can see how true and real you are. When people can act a way and you still present yourself that same way, that shows that you're confident and that you're not afraid of them because they act a way and they think you're supposed to be that same way. But if you don't care and you continue to be yourself, it shows how genuine you are. It reveals your heart to the people. So I just wanted to speak on how being an authentic Christian brings people to Christ, y'all. We gotta be Christ-like, but we don't gotta be churchy. We don't gotta be religious. We don't gotta be traditional and all of that, as long as we got God in us, right? And this is what God revealed to Peter and them in the book of Acts, because Peter was like, oh, I don't eat from that. That's unclean. And God told him, do not say it's unclean. Right? And he was talking about the Gentiles. And then he sent him out to another city. This is in Acts. He sent them out to another city to the Gentiles. Right? He sent Philip out to the Gentiles. They went out to the Gentiles when the Jews, the people in Jerusalem, didn't even know it yet. They didn't know that God had blessed the Gentiles yet. They didn't know that they was receiving the Spirit yet. So this is what God wants us to do, y'all. So just imagine how the apostles or the disciples would have been judged for going to these people. So they had to keep it real. They had to be authentic. Because when you truly follow God, you have to be authentic. If you are not being authentic, then you are not allowing the Spirit to use you, because God don't do that. You have to be real. And what I mean is real is like you cannot do anything out of your flesh to receive something, right? You cannot want to be boastful about yourself. You cannot want to be glorified. You understand? You cannot want to receive glory for being a Christian because you're a Christian. You look at higher, or you look like you're a strong person, or you look better than others. You can't see yourself like that. You cannot present yourself like that to others, because when you do, you can't bless others because you're thinking about yourself and not others, right? When you remove that and let that go, then you're thinking more about others than yourself, which is why we can see it in Jesus. Jesus didn't judge us. If we're being fake and trying to be like something else and we're not being authentic, guess what's going to happen? We can't see other people how Jesus saw us. This is how we know Jesus didn't care about that, because he loved me regardless. Because we look like the outsiders. The Gentiles look like the outsiders. So he would stay away from the outsiders, but he showed us how to continuously be even with the people who seem like the outsiders. Because even when we Gentiles, we ain't even godly like that, and then we get closer to God, then we want to act like, oh, we can't, da 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 da. No, we don't gotta do what they do, but we still love them and we help them. Why? Because I used to do that. Why? Because I used to be there. Even if it's not the same thing, I used to be there, right? I may not like what they doing, and it's also because I hate what I used to do, and I know God hates it too, but I don't just judge them. This is why I can't agree with people on YouTube who make these videos just talking about everybody. Specifically, you could talk about the situation, but you don't gotta talk about those people. The Bible tells us not to do that. You understand? Anyway, y'all, I just want to touch on this a little bit, how we got to be authentic out here, man. We can't be afraid to be judged. We don't got to be fitting in. As long as we fit into God's ways and follow Jesus' ways and allow our spirit to be changed and allow the spirit to lead us in love and follow God's law in love, that's all that matters. We don't got to look away, be away, traditionally or religiously, but spiritually and lovingly and Jesusingly. You feel what I'm saying? That's how God wants us to be. We put him first. We don't put everything we get from this first, right? That's it, y'all. Let's make sure that we out here doing our thing. Let's make sure that we out here not caring about how people see us, as long as we only care about how Jesus sees us, because we are following him. We don't gotta look like and be like, oh, what do these people think? Da, 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 da. And I understand how we could struggle with that. That's cool, I understand. But we need to focus more on, nope, what does Jesus want me to be? What does Jesus want me to do? Not trying to fit in and look like them and treat other people the way that they treat them. Man, no, man, it's God first, y'all. All right? I just wanted to talk on that because I know some people be out here fronting, man. Ain't no fronting going on. And if y'all follow me, man, we don't do that. We keep it real over here, okay? And we follow Jesus the way that he told us to be. It ain't no religious thing over here, all right? It's love for everybody. Jesus said to love everyone, to imitate him, all right? Okay, I hope this video blessed y'all. I ask that y'all please comment. If this video blessed y'all, man, comment, let me know if it blessed y'all in some way, and subscribe if you like these videos, okay? And if you want to see some more videos like this, definitely subscribe and check out some more videos on my channel, okay? I love y'all. I'm gonna get at y'all when I get at y'all.